Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of FemFlex Friday. I'm here today with my co-host Lenda Murray, and we have two very special guests invited today, Sally Williams and Derina Wilson, both fitness pro athletes. We are so excited to have you here. Welcome to our studio. Welcome
Thank you.
to this amazing studio. It's like the first episode we're shooting, so we are so thrilled, thrilled.
Look at them. I mean, you guys dress like this again.
I know.
This is like, again, what was so wonderful about the fitness division. You guys are a team. And I'm like, they coordinate.
I know, I saw them running in. I was like, I love your tank tops. What's happening there?
So Whitney Jones gives the fitness Olympians a shirt when we show up, and so we both wear fitness Olympians.
Everybody has, when you compete in the fitness division at the Olympia, Whitney will bring everybody a shirt.
She has in the past, so now she has to. Right? So
That's
thanks, Whitney.
awesome.
This is fantastic. I love it. I love it. Yes, absolutely. So, guys, I was so inspired by hearing so many stories from so many female athletes. They go through a lot of challenges in life, you know, challenges that are inherent to this life, right? To just being humans here. And the reason I have these two girls here is because they have both battled cancer, breast cancer, and I just wanted to hear their stories. I brought them here to share their inspirational stories, their amazing stories with you. So I would like to know, ladies, first of all, before we go into that, how did you do, what is your competitive history? Where did you start, Derina?
I started competing in 2015. I was driven by the loss of my father and wanted to do something for myself that they always inspired me to do. So I started competing in 2015, and I won my first competition and earned my pro card in my first competition.
Wow.
And started competing right away in 2015. I was diagnosed in 2018, but I already had gone to two international Arnold Classics, one in Australia, one in South Africa. Then I was invited to the Arnold Classic in Ohio, where I was diagnosed, underwent the double mastectomy, and then came back 2 years later to compete in another Arnold, where I got fourth place in the world, which I was super excited about because that's what I wanted to just do better.
If we were to sum up the competition history, how many Olympias and how many Arnolds did you do?
I competed in 4 Olympias, 2 Arnold Internationals, and 2 Arnold Classics.
That is awesome, awesome.
Wow.
How about you, Sally? Tell us your competitive story.
So I did my first national show in 2015, and I went pro at my first national show. So we went pro the same year.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
Same year. First show, same year.
Yeah.
Okay, there's more to both of you than I knew.
I know, and we're birthday twins basically. I'm the 10th, and she's the 12th of April.
Both 1980.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like both 1980, both 41.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. I didn't know there's so much, you have
I
so
know.
much in common
I
when
know.
I invited you.
I know, and the Converse. So
Oh, God.
Did you guys coordinate that too?
not on purpose.
No,
I mean,
like,
this is
what I was going to wear anyway.
That is fantastic.
yeah.
So you got your pro card in
I did.
2015, your first competition.
Right, and then I did my pro debut that year, and I took dead last. And then the next year I came back to that same show and I won it. So I qualified to my first Olympia. I did 2017, and then I did it again in 2020. So I've done 2 Olympias.
Yeah, 2 Olympias.
I did the Arnold South Africa and then 2 more Arnold Classics.
Tell me, I think you told me that story when you got in South Africa and you saw a picture, right, of yourself.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
That was crazy. They did such a good job at that one, and they do a good job with the athletes. These huge, remember those pictures? They were huge. I mean, they really, that was
really special.
You were like, oh my gosh, that's me.
You're like, can I take it home?
yeah, they wouldn't let me get it on the plane. I mean, that thing was huge. Yeah.
I see, that is I love it. And I know that you've kept on competing at the Rising Phoenix. How many editions did you do?
Let's see, I've done, the only year I missed was 2019. I've done every year since you've had it here.
Yeah, I saw your history.
Yeah.
Long history.
Yeah.
So our first edition was in the Arizona Pro, was in 15?
But you
So
didn't have fitness.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then it was 16 all the way through 21. 'Cause
Yep.
I saw you competing.
Yes. Yep.
I love it.
I know.
So you were consistent from 2016 all the way through 21.
I didn't do.
You took a
I
break.
didn't. Well, I didn't compete at. I've done every year, but I
Every
didn't
year.
compete at the Arizona Women's Pro.
Right,
That's only.
right.
I've only missed it 1 year.
So through your process and when you were diagnosed,
So
how did that?
I had my mastectomy in 2008, so I was
I see.
28.
Okay.
My mom got breast cancer when I was 8 and passed away when I was 11.
Wow.
And we carry the gene mutation.
Right, so that was the thing,
Yeah.
because they always ask us about our history. So
Yeah.
you did. So you said your mom passed away when you were 8.
No, 11.
When you were
Yeah,
11.
so she was actually 42 when she passed away. She was 38
Wow,
when she got
yeah.
diagnosed, and now we know that's because of the gene mutation.
So you saw her battling it for 3 years.
Yeah. And so when I found a lump, they tested me, and we just did a double mastectomy, no treatment or anything.
You were
and
28 and you just decided at
Yep.
that point that there was not a threat. You just discovered the gene. So you said, I want to just eliminate this threat from my life.
Yes, yeah, with my lump, yeah.
Yeah, so it was no question. Like
No,
when it
yeah,
came time
yep,
to
yep,
double mistake,
yeah.
no question.
Yeah,
Same here.
yeah, yep,
Same with you.
yeah.
And how were you diagnosed? How did you find out about it, Derina?
I had a lump, I had pain, and I had blood discharge from my nipple, but I hid it because my mother was sick at the time. After she passed, I had decided to go get biopsied, and that's when I discovered I had stage 1 breast cancer. It was poorly differentiated, so it was fast growing, fast spreading. So that's why like the urgency to do the surgery right away. That's why I was supposed to get it done actually like the day when I got home after the Arnold 2018. But I had a life-threatening allergic reaction to the rocuronium, the muscle relaxer that
So
they
hold on. Let me just.
Yeah.
You're moving so fast. You move as you speak. You move like you move on stage. Let's slow down a little bit. We're not doing a fitness routine.
Yeah.
You said that you competed at the 2018 Arnold.
Yeah.
No, having been diagnosed with cancer. So how long before that were you diagnosed? Like how long did you go through the prep?
January,
was
yeah.
January,
But
yeah.
I had these symptoms for a year and a half. So
okay.
I finally was diagnosed in January.
I see.
And
So then you
it's
just
like,
kept
yeah.
on pushing till the first week of March. You said,
Yeah,
what
let's
made
do
you
it.
not like just, you didn't want
It wasn't
to,
an option. I mean, I made it. What was holding me
because
back?
somebody would be like, when you're looking at it, it's like, I just got diagnosed. Can we just do the surgery immediately?
She was prepping for the Arnold, and
You just
Yeah.
didn't want to abandon the prep.
she wanted, she
Yeah.
wanted to finish it. It
Wow.
was,
And it
yeah.
was actually, a good headspace for me because it kept my head, focused on something.
Yes.
At that time, I was doing like a full ketogenic diet, with my coach Lena Scarcia-Fico. And I started incorporating a lot of like cancer fighting foods
Okay.
and cancer fighting like supplements that really helped with my diagnosis. So after the surgery, I opted for a double mastectomy. It was only in one breast. But if I had a lumpectomy, the chances of it coming back were higher.
I see.
And then I would also have to get chemo and radiation. And the chances of it being not symmetrical were there. So I said in my mind, I kind of knew, but didn't know until I was really diagnosed. But I already knew in my mind, double mastectomy, take them both, give me some new ones, I'm pushing 40.
So did you get to do a one step where they did the mastectomy
No.
and it? Okay.
No, I did, because I was competing, getting ready for the Arnold.
Yeah.
My body fat was very low. So
Right.
they didn't have the
Of
option
course,
to
yeah.
take it from anywhere in my body.
Yeah, like the fat
So they
transfer.
had to do the expanders. So I had the expanders put in. Luckily, I didn't have any cancer in my lymph nodes, so I didn't need chemo or radiation or even tamoxifen because my tumor shrank with everything that I was really like aggressively doing. And I was my own advocate. So
You mean naturally aggressively doing,
Naturally,
right?
yeah.
'Cause it sounded
So explain
Yeah.
expanders. You said
They're expanders, so every 3 weeks they will fill it up with saline, and then it has to like wait for another 3 weeks.
So they had to take as much skin as they could because with the gene mutation, your risk of your cells having cancer are so high. They take as much skin as they can, and so
What do you mean skin too?
Yeah,
They-
I understand.
yeah, no,
because the cells, if it's in,
Yeah.
then it could
Okay.
be there as well.
Yeah.
Than just the
Yeah.
actual tissue is also in the skin.
Yeah, so in my case, they took as much as they could. So they even took the layer of subcutaneous fat underneath my skin.
Yeah.
So they took everything, and and because of that, they have to, for me, I had to do the expanders where they, what they do is they make a cut in your pec muscle and they slide an empty balloon. It's like a hard balloon.
Yes.
And then there's a little port on it, and then they have a port finder, so it's this little magnet, and they find it, and then they stick a needle through your skin and fill it up with saline. And I had
So
to
it's
do
got to
it.
be done gradually, obviously, so the skin can can
Everything
stretch,
and
right?
everything grows. So it's like you're going through puberty.
Yeah.
You get to be like, what
like,
size am I
whoa,
today? You know, I mean, it's like,
I'm
do
like,
we
oh,
like it
it's not-
here? How, you know, like, but what they do
Wow.
is, so then they overfill it by about 10%. And once you get to that point, then you go for another surgery where they call it an exchange, where they
Yeah.
go back in, take out the expander, and then put in a permanent implant.
Okay, so the process, how long does that last from the, that whole process?
So everybody's different. I did mine really quickly. I had my mastectomy at the end of, so it was like July 31st. I had my exchange surgery September 15th.
I see.
But I wasn't really opting for anything, like I mean, we were just filling up to what I had before.
Same.
And so, I mean, you can do whatever, I mean, they'll tell you like, what size do you want to be, And so,
I know, me too. I had the lucky option. I was very blessed to do nipple sparring, where they were able to save my nipples.
Oh,
Some
that is
people-
I want to talk about that because I remember Sally told me something about that. A little bit more about nipples after this commercial break.
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987 and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
Welcome back to our studio, guys. Here we are with Sally Williams and Derina Wilson, and we are talking about breast cancer, trying to raise some awareness. These amazing competitors here went through this, and we were just talking about those expanders. And I have to say that, I have a friend that she had to go through that. And I remember taking her to those appointments with the doctor when they were filling out the expanders with liquid. And she was saying that they were excruciatingly painful to the point where she couldn't even drive because she had to take so much pain medication.
Very uncomfortable. Very, and especially the drains that go on the side also.
after the surgery.
How many milliliters or ounces do they put at one time?
It just depends on the person, and initially, like it depends because you're like I had scars that went all the way across the front, so we had to fill very slowly in the beginning because those scars are still healing. So just depending on how you're healing and just kind of how you can tolerate, they'll usually, I think it was about like 10 milliliters in the beginning.
Very small first, and then they gradually
10 milliliters?
increased it.
Yeah, because you're healing still, and so the whole idea is they are stretching, healing tissue.
But the question that I have, do they put the expanders immediately after mastectomy or they wait for
Yes, because the skin
immediately?
automatically goes
Right.
I have
Oh,
a
yeah, of
picture
course,
of
because
myself
then they
with
would
no
heal,
expanders,
the
it's
skin would-
completely flat.
Yeah. So I actually woke up with a little bit. They filled my expanders just a little bit.
Me too.
Okay.
And it just and then you like gradually build from there.
Yeah.
How
It
many
was
visits did
uncomfortable.
you each have to do until they reached the size that needed to be?
I think I did 3.
3?
Yeah.
So I actually went more frequently. I went once a week, and so and it was I think it was about 6. Yeah, and so maybe that's why mine weren't. I didn't think it was painful. I would compare it to getting your braces tightened if you ever had braces on your teeth.
Yeah.
Yes,
So it's uncomfortable. I
understand.
remember having a hard time sleeping at
Yeah,
night.
exactly.
But I actually didn't really take. I didn't have to do really any painkillers from the mastectomy, or I had a hard time after the exchange surgery when they switched out the expanders for the implants. But and I mean.
Yeah.
So that's what
Because it's
happened
like a foreign
once?
object in your body. So with me, with the
it will
expanders,
be.
mine were like red and like bruised and just like so painful. The drains, draining it for the first time, it was hitting a nerve. So every time it hit, I was like, I just got like a little shock. It was very painful. when they took, and I had to sleep on a like 45-degree angle for 2 weeks with the drains in.
On a
your back.
45-degree
like in
angle.
a couch
Wow.
recliner, just like that. My back got so bad because it really exacerbated my arthritis and my injuries in my spine.
Okay.
But with the expanders too, with like the foreign object being in there, once it was taken out, I was lucky to do, I didn't have to have like the healing of the scar for the nipples.
Okay.
But still there, you can see like the stitching around the nipple.
So once you're done
Still
with the
very
expanders,
sensitive.
then they get
the implant
implants,
in.
right?
Yep. And the same thing too.
And
it
do
took a
they
little
get
while.
them through the nipples or
Not
under?
mine. Mine was underneath.
Yours was
Okay.
Yeah, they just- because
underneath the
mine-
muscle?
Underneath the muscle.
Underneath the muscle.
Yeah.
And yours?
Mine are under the
Under the muscle as well.
Yeah, but
Incision under the breast.
And so is there a reason for under the muscle? You mean?
yeah, because you don't have this, you don't have the support of the tissue.
I see. Yeah,
They've
makes
taken,
sense.
and in my case, they took all the skin too. So they had to create a pocket.
Okay.
Because they took across like this and then closed it, closed it off.
Yeah.
So is there like restrictions in regard to like size? Like when as fitness competitors,
I'm sure there is. However you feel.
Okay.
I know that I stayed pretty similar to what I had before, but
see.
but what's different is you gather up what you had and
Okay.
into this like firm. Like I had a really hard time when I first got them. I was 28. I had never planned on getting implants.
Okay, so you had never planned on
it's
getting-
not that I had anything against them or anything, but I hadn't
understand.
really.
But I think this is a great conversation because our industry.
And that was I only had one friend that had gotten implants, and I wasn't around a lot of people that had
Okay.
them. I thought when I first got them, I felt like they made me look like a cartoon version of myself because they
Okay.
were these, and for me, I don't have any feeling. I'm completely like numb. Like
I see.
See, they severed all my subcutaneous nerves. Like I have a friend that tries to light them on fire because she thinks it's funny. It's
Okay.
not. It's not.
It's not funny.
Please don't do it.
I just want to ask a question. When you took the expanders, you put the implants, and you had a great question, Lenda,
Yeah.
there, because at that point is the question is like, or when you do the expanders, you can decide what size you want the implants to be.
Yep.
But I'm pretty sure that the amount of pain that you went through, you were not anything about aesthetics and being
No, you're not trying.
voluptuous in that department, right? You just wanted to be functional and be done with it, correct?
As bodybuilders, with natural breasts, they had the tendency to deflate as you lose
Absolutely.
weight, right? So for
Right.
me, I was just like, I don't know, I think this might make me look a little bit more symmetrical on stage. I myself also would never have gotten, a breast job, but okay, now this saved my life. So I went with like my natural 34C that like I grew up with, but now when I compete, they stay.
Yeah.
And that is what is different because when you have breast tissue, they will fluctuate people's, but ours don't change because we don't. They are what they are. They're not changing. They're not.
So, Derina, you mentioned something about a nipple saving procedure earlier. So, can you familiarize us with that? What is
Yes,
it?
I'm not sure. I guess, you have to be a candidate for the nipple sparring, but they were able to save my nipple, take it off, sew it back on. So I have my own nipples. They are very erect all the time. So if I'm not wearing a bra, I just say, if I catch people staring.
Hello, everybody.
It's not that I'm happy to see you.
It is cold, but I go, at least I still have them.
Yeah.
Right? I'm very happy to have them. I was blessed.
Wow.
But it is painful and the feeling had taken a long time to come back. It's still kind of feeling, but not all the way.
So how long after the whole process, did you compete again? Did you?
I did the Arnold 2018 and then came back 2020 and competed at the following Arnold. Took the season off and came back with a vengeance and very, strong and happy and confident. But it took me, they said I would be back within like 6 months.
Okay.
And I was like really back in like 3.
That's what I was curious about. So did the doctors, they told you, give it about, you had a certain period of time before you could start to go back into all of the
when
things
can I do
that
a
you have to
handstand?
do.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't competing then when I was back when I was 20.
Okay, that's right.
But I was
Yeah.
running marathons, and I remember running was a big stress reliever for me. So during the whole surgery and everything, they didn't restrict me very much. So like I had the mastectomy on a Thursday. That following Saturday, I went to a cycle class with my drains in. But it was a good stress reliever for me throughout the whole process. Plus, I feel like it helped with healing for me. Let's see. So I had the exchange surgery in September. I tried to do a nipple reconstruction in December, and then I did the first race of the year at the end of that January, and that was the fastest half marathon I'd ever run.
Wow.
I think it was because I had taken some, like I had some downtime in there and stuff. So
your body
it was almost like, I mean, but I was really lucky. They didn't really, the plastic surgeon that I used for my reconstruction, I don't think he had done a lot and had a lot of like active people, because now I've heard maybe they would have put restrictions. They didn't give me any restrictions, and so
My birthday was, my surgery was April 9th, and my birthday is April 12th. So I call it like my rebirth and birth month.
But
I was out having a margarita 3 days, going out with like my family
3 days
with the drains and
You
everything.
didn't have any antibiotics on the menu?
I'm like,
yeah, they keep you on it.
I can have a
It's
drink.
supposed to be mixed.
Yeah,
Derina.
Just kidding. It was my birthday drink, okay?
You deserve it.
And I was out walking. I would go walking. I would do, like bar stuff, like lower body stuff. I couldn't lift any more than 10 pounds for a long time. But I was still doing lower body stuff. I couldn't do any ab exercises. I couldn't get on my back, no twisting, things in that. So the back pain was like really, really, high at that point. So I needed to do something, at least like walk or like do plies and lunges and stuff. But it kept me like
I think it actually
moving.
helped me that they didn't give me any restrictions.
Yes.
And I mean, I would go on how I felt if something didn't feel right. But again, I didn't have a lot of feeling.
Yeah.
Well, it sounded like that half marathon that you did, that it was really a great motivator for you to beat your all-time record, right?
Yeah. I think at the time I was really excited, saying like, they didn't slow me down.
Yeah, the same with me. I was like, I got 6th place in the 2018 Arnold. I want to do better. And then I got 4th, and I was like, yes.
So when you came into the fitness world, that was way after, right? It was what?
Yep. Oh yeah.
7 years after.
Well, so I did a show in 2012 just to see if I wanted to compete, but that was actually what was really cool about bodybuilding.
How did you get into this world to start with?
I actually started following it back in 1999. I had somebody come and ask me to teach them about handspring. I was coaching gymnastics, and because they wanted to learn it for a fitness routine.
Okay.
And so I followed the sport for a long time, but I get pretty shy, and I didn't really want to like get out on stage myself. But it's way too addicting. So
I really don't see any traces of that shyness.
So you obviously had some kind of experience as far as like stunts and prior to.
I did gymnastics when I was younger. I danced in college, and I coached gymnastics.
So you've been an athlete pretty much all your life. The same thing with you, Derina, right? I know that you've been doing lots of sports since you were really young.
Yeah, really high
I
level
started gymnastics when I was 6. I was an elite gymnast.
And I read that you rejected an offer from the Romanian Bela Karoli.
Yeah, that's I was an Olympic hopeful. I got accepted to Bela Karoli's training camp in Texas when I was 13, and that's when I needed full reconstructive surgery of my ankle. I broke it twice. I fractured it. I tore a ligament, sprained it about a dozen times, and I was like, I just don't think I'm just a gymnast. I think I could be an overall athlete, and I want to have a normal childhood. I was 13.
I'm just impressed with how you are able to, through the years. Even if you did it as a gymnast, how do you still know how to do a backhand spring or get on your hands or do a flip?
Muscle memory.
What did you have to?
I still have to practice a lot.
Right.
If I don't keep up with the skills, then I do lose them. So I mean, I had to. It took me once I did that figure competition, it took me a whole year of training just to get to the local level to do a fitness competition, and then I took another year before I trained for my
for fitness.
For my national level.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your first instinct was to go and figure out fitness was there.
I knew I wanted to do fitness. I just didn't know if I wanted to do because there's a couple different organizations like Fitness America. There's some other, so I wanted to see, but NPC and IFBB was what I really loved and wanted, so I wanted to see if I could actually, because I actually got pretty heavy when I was younger. I put on a lot of weight. At one point I'd lost 100 pounds. So I didn't want to pursue fitness without, if I couldn't really get out and do the physique portion of it. So I tried figure just to make sure, and actually did pretty decent in figure. So then I was like, okay, well I'll do the better organization. Where they, so.
Yeah, because that's really impressive when I see you guys on stage, and then you have to go through the physique round, and then you have to perform the routine. I'm like, oh God, what an amazing athlete, because I know what it takes to just, as far as your physique, having no bruises and your tanning and then all that, and then when you guys are up there and you're doing all those moves, and then I'm like, okay, how do you look so perfect when you're in the physique round? Because I'm looking for bruises on the knees and elbows.
They're there. They're there.
But you guys are masters.
Arnica. Lots of arnica.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard about that.
I had a fear of doing my back tuck after my double mastectomy, after not doing it for so long. But this is something that I've been able to do growing up, party trick, as a baby. So for me to have this fear, that I was going to get hurt, or that my arms wouldn't go back far enough. I forgot where I look and this and that. So I had to retrain myself how to do a back tuck. I started in the pool, and then I go into the pit. I had somebody spotting me, but I was like, what is going on right now?
This is amazing, because I really want to go a little bit more into that topic on how having the surgery affected your training and your life from then on. But we're going to go into that a little bit after this commercial break.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on trifecta.
And we are back, and I just wanted to pick on that back talk, the Derina's back talk, right? Because you said that this is something that you used to do as a child quite often, and you're very familiar with, right? So after your surgery, you had to retrain yourself to do that, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of mind games. Gymnastics is so mental, and the mental aspects behind it of are you going to be flexible enough to do that? Are you going to have the power enough to do that? Are you, going to land on your face? Are you going to roll your ankle? All these things go through your mind. And, from me, gymnastics was always the easiest part, The physique round was always my challenge, you got to get bigger shoulders, bigger shoulders. But so to not be comfortable doing my routine, then I had to practice my routine more than I usually did, which put a toll on my body. But even I would go to the park, and there's the monkey bars. I learned that this is why people are not able to do pull-ups, because they don't have the strength in the lats. They just hang. And I just hung the first time, and then every time I would go to the park, I would try to hang a little bit more, and I would pull and I would stop, and it would pull and I would stop, and then finally I took my first little monkey bar step, and I was like, yay, okay, that's it, drop. And then I just kept going every single time, and before now I'm doing the monkey bars, turning around, doubling the monkey bars. Every time I went and did some kind of practice, it's always I challenged myself to start here. Okay, it doesn't feel right, don't do it. 'Cause that's what they said. You can do it. If it doesn't feel good, stop. So your body.
So are you saying specific movements related to your to your surgery, you experienced a different challenge.
Yeah, there's a lot of pulling, especially like hanging,
a lot of
doing
pulling.
pull-ups, stuff
Pull-ups
like that.
I remember the first time I was able to do pull-ups, and for me it was a lot longer, but that wasn't a focus of mine. But I can remember thinking that was something I'd never be able to do, because the first time that I hung, because I had done gymnastics, the first time that I hung with all of that, because I'm pretty sure that there's a different scarring than what you would think of with maybe like a breast augmentation.
Right, yeah.
Because you can even see through my skin, like the fascia, the pulling, when, like
same.
through the whole, So the first time that I hung, I remember thinking, I would never be able to do a pull-up. But that was actually, before I started bodybuilding, that was something, like a personal goal that I set for myself. And it took me a really long time, a really, really long time. But as soon as I could do it, that's something I never want to lose. Like I want to be 93, pulling up.
And that's what I'm saying.
Me too.
You have to really be consistent. And that's where I'm like impressed, because I see the women on stage and they're in their late 20s and early 30s and close to 40. I mean, even like with gymnastics, like you're 15 years old and you're doing a backhand spring, and it's very different from when you're 20 and when you're 25. Sure. So you guys had to be really consistent, and then to experience and go through what you've gone through to still be able to get over that hurdle and stay,
Yeah, but I think those kind of things do help give you something to focus on, and that's what fitness does for us. It helps build confidence. So you set goals and then you reach them, and then it makes you realize that you're capable of more and you can ask more of yourself. So
I always say, move it or lose it.
Move it or lose it. And it's so helpful with what we're at this conversation, because I think most of the women out there, when they look at you on stage, you're on stage in the physique round and you look perfect. You do your routine and it's like, gosh, she has such confidence. Gosh, their life must be, they have no problems. I have all of these other issues. But you're saying that all really just really helped. It gave you the foundation and the courage, and it was the support. And take your mind. So
do you feel it actually makes you stronger, right? More determined, more when you choose and follow your goals and follow what you want, your dreams, pretty much. Do you feel like it gives you more strength?
You have you have your opinion. You know your own body. You know what you can do with it. You know what it's capable of, and you just continue to push yourself and better yourself.
One thing for me, I have daughters, and knowing that having this genetic predisposition, knowing that my girls could, it was really important for me to be a good example. And that's why a lot of times,
that's awesome.
I tried to keep everything, and I still try to keep it as, maybe not as scary, but as doable. It's doable. It's especially knowing that they were going to, that now I know that my older daughter she tested negative, so we don't have to, she's now at the same risk as the general population.
Okay, that's fantastic.
But knowing, still knowing that's something that they could face, I wanted them to know that it would be something, if you do face it, you're going to have to go through it. It's not the end of the world.
Exactly. That's life. You can do it.
It's a blip in the road. It's not a death sentence.
But you ladies, you have a lot of mental strength, and I commend you for that. That's really, it's beautiful, and that's what inspired us to have you over here, and have you invited, because to me, it's really, it's an amazing thing when you go through such a threatening problem in life, and we all go, not all, but most of us go through something like that. Many people would just be like, oh, competing, that used to be a hobby, or that's something that I can't afford to do anymore. Now I have to focus on my body, I have to focus on my health. But then in the end, this is actually something that makes you be a better winner, right? Because you focus on achieving something, and in the process, you're just achieving more health with your body by keeping it active, and but in the end, as you said, with your daughters, I love that you're setting an example for them. If it happens to them, something like that, they're always going to look back and be like, hey, my mom did it, and she did it with a smile on her face, and she never stopped, and she didn't show weakness, she just kept on doing, so I can do it too.
She really inspired me during her Arnold prep for 2018.
It's pretty amazing.
So in the Arnold, they usually at a competition you're alphabetical order, but the Arnold, they do a
That's
random. Guess who went right after her? Right? And
Of course, you're like right next to each other. I can see.
I can't normally pay attention to what's happening on the stage before I go.
That's
For my
right.
routine, I'm very focused. So I'm standing backstage waiting for her. Like she did her routine. Well, they call her back out, and they talked about her. I would have completely missed that in any other order, but I was standing backstage. And then I had to go and do my routine after that.
I know. I didn't know that they were going to do that.
I was
also.
standing, bawling backstage.
So they called her on stage to acknowledge.
Yeah, after because they knew she was coming home to having her surgery, and that she was diagnosed and stuff. So it was amazing. I got to stand there and see her because she had called me right when she got her diagnosis and everything.
In my eyes
I know. It was crazy what he said. He was like, we're being televised worldwide, and people need this inspiration and to be inspired around the world. And I told my story that I was going to be having this surgery, the Monday when I got back.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I didn't because of my allergic reaction. I had to wait a month after that, but still, it was what
really
he said was
powerful,
really powerful.
though. At the Arnold, taking a minute
crying.
to be bigger than, bigger than bodybuilding. It was really cool.
Right.
It was
That's a great way to put it. You were in that moment bigger than bodybuilding, bigger than what's happening on that stage, right?
Yeah, well, that's why I did it. I was like, because I'm not going to give up. Why? There's no restrictions that I have right now that I can't do the things that I normally do. After, then I will be restricted. But why am I not going to go through this competition? I was accepted to the Arnold.
Yeah.
I really love your determination.
Yeah,
You
so
just
it was
kept on
just
going for it. And with such a positive mental attitude, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And what,
Thank you.
what courage, I mean, when you guys are on stage and you're up there in given that small space to perform, and I think, so through what you experienced with the breast cancer, I'm sure it's changed your world in a way where you just go out and do your best. There's nothing, once you experience something
Exactly.
like that,
Everything was
I would
easy
just
after
think after that it's easy. It's like if you flipped and you didn't hit that stunt,
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
no big deal,
It's
right?
not the end all.
I will say this, especially with my daughter, when she was testing and everything, we were talking a lot more about all of it. One of the things I know for me, there are things that I am self-conscious about, and that at the time when you're going through everything, you're just happy. You're just happy to take the risk away. Then there is the rest of your life, and there are things that you do have to deal with, like not having nipples, not having sensation, having big scars. But through the whole process, especially going through the bodybuilding process, that's helped me become more accepting of what I have.
Wow.
Same.
I know, there's a lot of courage in there.
Yeah, and I know, and in our sport, we are so obsessed. Because this is what we do, and we look at every inch of our neck, our shoulders, and my shoulders are going to come in. When my glutes got to, when am I going to get leaner?
Why don't I
This
look
little
like
thing
Alina,
go
right?
away. Yeah. So we go to that place, and
I've learned.
Yeah.
I was so obsessed, with just being perfect and me not having my physique matching, the top girls on stage, and me always being a little bit smaller in size, but my routine always being top. But now being off season and planning to take this next season off to heal, some past injuries and just give myself a little break. And I'm noticing, I'm not as lean as I am on season, but I am feeling pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's all a mind game,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
If you can control your thoughts and your mind,
Exactly.
everything is beautiful. But talking about the thoughts and the mind, I want to go a little bit on the shadow side of it. I know if I was to go through that, there would always be that fear there, right? What if it comes back? Do you feel that, and how does it affect you, and how do you deal with it?
I don't. I don't think mine.
I feel like we both were able to make decisions. We were a little bit more empowered
Aggressive,
with our having options to us. I think I had options available to me that my mom didn't have.
Okay.
I felt, and so at the time, I went with a less aesthetically pleasing reconstruction, but for the peace of mind that I'm taking away
It's safe.
every
So
little
there's no risk right now. Is it zero risk right now for you to
you're
come
never
back?
at zero.
Very low.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're. I'm at less of a risk than the general population
Okay.
because I let them take as much tissue as they could.
Me as well.
So there's that peace
Yeah.
of mind
Yeah.
there.
I
You
was,
too?
my option was to have a lumpectomy, and if I had the lumpectomy, I would go through chemo and radiation and tamoxifen and everything like that, but they didn't find any cancer in my lymph nodes, so I didn't
Okay.
have to get any chemo or radiation. The percentage of it coming back was higher with the lumpectomy,
Yeah.
so that's why I was aggressive to do the double mastectomy and have the symmetry and,
I can
you know,
totally
just
see
one and
you
done.
choosing that, like the version that it's, probably more painful and, not as pleasant on the aesthetic
Yeah.
part, but
I know with me
think it was
with
better.
with the BRCA mutation, they're very they're not, and they're better now than they were back in 2008. But they're very not pushy, but maybe a little guided on. You need to be realistic that it's not a good outcome. So
Okay.
I mean, they actually I don't think I had an option for.
Yeah.
Like what surgery? They were like, nope.
Yeah, because the BRCA's in, it could be in
and
either,
I mean, if you
right?
have one cell that they
Yeah.
leave behind, that's a cell that.
Yeah,
could-
mine
Okay,
was just
great.
in one breast, so I opted for both.
oh yeah, you just wanted to
Yeah, just
eliminate
get one and done.
Yeah.
forever.
I said I was
Yeah.
pushing 40, just give me some new ones, Doc.
Just give me some new ones.
And see, I know for me, I saw my mom go through chemo in the late 80s. It was terrible. It was
yeah.
really awful. And I know that it's come a long way, and it's a much better outcome now. But I felt really empowered, not like getting to say, I feel like I can do this, so I don't have to do treatment. I don't, so.
Me too. I think my outlook and everything would have been a little bit more
Maybe you
on
would
the
be
negative
looking,
side.
maybe looking over your shoulder and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Now, I have family members that have chosen not to test, and they've had lumpectomies, and that's, I feel like that's fine. You should go with how you feel.
But you were very proactive,
Yeah,
right?
and I know that that's my own experience growing up at a young age, seeing my mom. So
How about the support? Did you have any support, Derina, going through this?
Yeah, a lot. Well, first of all, I had my fitness sisters.
Okay.
This one over here started a GoFundMe page.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
Yeah.
Because I was going to be out of work for a few months, and with my job, I don't get paid when I don't work, so they started a GoFundMe page. I had my gym did a fundraiser for me where I work and personal train at Fit Life, and one of my other friends owns a studio, a store, and she had a fundraiser for me also. My sister, all my friends, they helped me. My sister helped me. I stayed with her for a couple weeks after. She helped do my drains and clean and this and that and cook me food and nice. She's vegan, so everything was like very healthy afterwards. I actually decided to go on my sister's yoga retreat 3 weeks after my double mastectomy.
Oh, wow.
My sister does yoga retreats around the world, and this time she was going to Costa Rica. And my doctor's like, are you kidding me? Like, you want to do the Arnold? You want to go to Costa Rica? Like, all right, I'll prescribe you these antibiotics. You can't do yoga, you can't swim, you can't sunbathe. I was like, I'm going to be in Costa Rica. Like, I'm going to be in Costa Rica on a vegan, yoga retreat.
right.
Like,
No sun,
I have
no-
watermelon juice, mango juice. I have the sun. I get to do nothing. They didn't even let me lift my luggage. I couldn't lift any more than 10 pounds. I would try, but they would be like, what are you doing? Put it down. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just sat there, and if I got hot, I would go into the room. I'd take a cold shower and lay in the air conditioning, but it was like so relaxing. And I think it really helped with my healing, just being in that
Oh, yeah.
tropical environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I suggest that.
Clean mental space.
Oh, my anti-cancer diet. Well, I was on a ketogenic diet.
Yeah.
But I was eating beets, and my sister was giving me a whole bunch of different supplements. That she did all her research about it. Then I also took cannabidiol, that fights cancer tumors. So it's like high doses of CBD, which when they went in to do the double mastectomy, my doctor was really like, that size of tumor shrank 75%.
Wow.
That's why I didn't have to have the
Just with
tamoxifen
the
or
diet.
the treatments. Yeah. And he never listened to me when I was like, I'm taking CBD, blah, blah, blah. And it helped me with my mood, with sleep and, pain and just everything. My my appetite, you know? And he just like went in there, and they had me like as their panel for like the doctors, you know, committee, you know, workshop, because they were just like, how did this happen? And I told him, I was like, I told you I was taking CBD and doing all this other stuff and everything, and they presented me, because they were just like, I didn't know how that happened. So now they have like workshops about like the benefits of cannabidiol and medical, you know, and medical marijuana to help with like cancer patients.
That is a beautiful story. You didn't tell us about your support system, Sally.
I had my family. They were great. My kids were still pretty little, so they had to, they just couldn't jump. Like, I had a toddler, so like I'd be like, you know, but we have all these sweet pictures of me in the recliner with my youngest daughter curled up. She was always like right by me, or, you know, my mother-in-law came out and helped, kind of helped, because that's when I still had young kids, so she helped take care of my family so that I could just focus on healing. I was really concerned about the drains, so I made sure I took pictures of everything for like people when they're gonna have, I think I like showed you and stuff like that, because those are things I was nervous about, because I wanted to be able to take care of myself so that nobody had to take care of me, so that I could just, you know, you know. And so I was able to, I could clear my own drains. It was, you know, they showed, that was the first thing that I asked in my like pre-op, is like, will you help me, like, can you help make sure that I can, you know, just because I
wasn't comfortable with that.
I can be kind of private, and so we were a little bit more, maybe like a little bit more like private about it.
My dog was my
Your dog has been talking about him.
Because I don't unfortunately have kids. I would love kids one day. But my fur baby Bubba was, you know, there staring at me every time. I couldn't lift him up because he's about 50 pounds. So I was given a ramp that I can roll out. It was very lightweight, to put up into my Jeep so he can go up a bit, go up the ramp. And then I had a belt leash, so because he would, you know, pull me. He's a big boy. And so I had the leash around the waist, and we would like find a different beach or park in Long Island, and we would go for walks and hikes.
Wow.
Yeah, and like he just like cuddled and loved me and licked me, and it was like.
And they always talk about like with animals, you know, because they're always present and just at peace, and then they just really calm you.
Yeah, therapy dog.
Yeah. And with that said, did you do meditation? You mentioned yoga. So meditation a part of?
I've practiced yoga since 2001 and have instructed yoga and Pilates since 2001. I do more of like walking meditations.
Yes.
I'm not, and you know, I'll take a nice bath, you know, and sit in the bath and like close my eyes and just breathe. I'm not like a sit there and meditate person. I like to move, so I call it like walking meditation. I like to go into the park and just be quiet and see things and hear things and smell things and look at things, and that's it.
It's really beautiful. It's the power of mind, right? And when you have to go through something like this, everything matters, right? What you think, what you eat, what you do with your body. So
who you surround yourself with.
I really want to thank you girls for coming here with us today and for having the courage, because it's really takes a lot of courage to come out and just be vulnerable and talk to our public, to other women who might have gone through this or not. This takes a lot of courage, so I commend you for that.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for sharing
so much
your
for having
stories
us.
and for inspiring other women. See you guys on our next episode of FemFlex Friday.